This guy started the recording too late. Here is, for a second time, Doug Drexler. And now, please on screen. This interview is in English.
I don't believe you.
Come, we made another one in 2-3 years, so that's where you get this.
You missed a lot. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that I just talked to this guy for half an hour. He did not hit record.
That is recording now, actually.
He did some really good stuff. I would love to have known it was recorded and look at this. Come on. Are we recording?
Okay, yeah. We thank you for introducing.
You better get going. You better get going. You've got about 35
And here we go, Doug Drexler.
An hour.
Yeah.
He talked to me for half an hour, and now he's going to start himself. So I only got another half hour.
Thank you for introducing you as Doug Drexler. Welcome again for a second time. Here we go, my friend.
Yeah, but you'll have to start recording immediately.
Oh, okay. Okay, I will note it next time. So, please tell me how you and how you feel all these years we don't speak.
How do I feel all these years about what?
We not speak 3 years. We speak last time. So, how you feel in the last 3 years?
Oh, well, most everybody knows I went through, really cataclysmic event, losing Dorothy.
Mm.
And she's going on 2 years now. Hard to believe.
Yeah, that's.
And she was, it was a miraculous friendship, and losing her was. But you either, I will go back to The Cage with Jeffrey Hunter and the doctor, where the doctor tells him that you either meet life head on or you just curl up and die,
Oh, yeah.
And that's, I thought of that a lot while I was going through this.
Yeah.
And you have to meet life head on, I didn't really want to go on, but I couldn't leave. I had to take care of the parrot, I have a parrot. He's like 40 years old. He's watching us right now.
Oh.
So he kept me, I really didn't know, living on didn't seem very attractive to me, but after 2 years, I'm kind of figuring it out. I feel like I was knocked into an alternate universe, talking about multiverses. I met a wonderful girl who I feel like Dorothy sent me. And, the most important thing is to have someone who cares about you.
That's
someone
true.
To watch over you.
Yeah.
I had 32 wonderful years with Dorothy, and living by myself was not optimal in any sense of the word. It was the loneliness that was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I
was really shocked when I read it that you lost her. I sit here and say, no, this cannot happen to Doug.
Well, nobody had any warning. When I was going through my prostate cancer thing, I put it on my Facebook page. Everyone knew what was going on.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Dorothy didn't want to do that. So when she passed, no one had any idea what was going on, I've got a plastic bag. Where is it? What do I do with it? Well, believe me, I have a plastic Ziploc bag stuffed with Kleenexes from tears that I collected.
Oh, you collected? Oh, wow.
Them. Wow. Yeah, they're here. It rewired my brain. No kidding. It really changed my brain. I used to never cry at anything. I used to wonder what was wrong with me. And then after losing Dorothy, it was like the freaking dumbest thing can break me down to tears.
I'm so sorry for your loss, man. Really.
Well, I had 32 wonderful years, so be grateful, be thankful for that. I appreciate that, but it really, you have to try to find the good in it, because ultimately, if you only see the negative and the bad, and it will be self-destructive.
Hmm.
You know? So I mostly concentrate, and I still hear her every day,
And that's a good thing.
giving me advice. And you know what? I posted a thing on my Facebook page a couple of days ago about finding in the freezer a container of beef stew that she made like over 3 years ago.
Yeah, I love that
And
one.
so a couple of days ago, I had the last meal Dorothy made for me was 2 years after she passed. And I went on I went on Google to see how long food can last, frozen, and it basically says indefinitely.
Hmm.
So I defrosted and ate it, and it was amazing. That was prepared by her, and with love. She never did anything for me that wasn't full of love. I was a lucky guy, and I know she sent me Donna. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. But anyway, is there anything Star Trek you want to talk about?
Yeah, but that was important for me to ask you before we started.
Oh no,
Um,
I thank you for that.
no problem. You're welcome. Before we talk about this, you want someday somehow to release the book from Dorothy's food recipe, and you
Well,
can't do that anymore, right?
well, she's got lots of recipes, but she had put together the captain's table, which was all the recipes that she prepared for on screen on Enterprise.
Yeah, yeah,
I've never been Star Trek cookbooks before, but they're bullshit. These really are recipes
yeah,
from the.
yeah,
You could have a screening party and make the meal.
yeah, yeah.
Watch Carbon Creek and have the Carbon Creek chili. You could watch Shuttle Pod 1, where they're trapped on the shuttle pod
Oh
without
yeah,
having meatloaf, and they plug a leak, which ignited
that's
a
amazing.
firestorm on the internet about whether you could do that. And Michael Kuda actually wrote a note explaining exactly how and why it would work. But yeah, I was going to publish like 50 copies.
Wow,
And I
wow.
posted that on my Facebook page, and Paramount actually contacted me and forbid me.
Why this? Why this? Why?
I mean, come on, man.
That is.
I've given my lifeblood to this show.
Yeah, yeah.
How is my printing 50 copies going to be an issue? You know, there are people who raise lots and lots of money with their fan films. I worked on the show for a
Half
decade.
half a century. Yeah.
Oh, don't do this. Why are you doing this to me? But, sometimes who knows? It's idiotic. I think maybe I ought to just go ahead and do it. Why not? What are they going to do to me? What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Paramount, they want only this when you ask me. They will
Well,
only.
and then
Yeah.
there's politics and power, and, it's no different than working anywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter where you work, whether it's Hollywood or
Yeah.
working
But
in
I think the leaders from Paramount in the past was better for Star Trek as than now, when you ask me.
Well, it's just that Star Trek has gotten really big.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of producers. And uh, when we were doing Star Trek through the late 80s into the early 2000s, it was a small group.
Mm-hmm. So a small group, yeah. I
Small group, we
remember.
were together pretty much on the back lot there,
Mm.
and now it's like really very spread out with, uh, um, well, it's become a multiverse as well behind the camera.
Yeah, yeah,
It is,
yeah. That's
Uh,
true.
and I'm glad I got to, be on Picard for 2 seasons. That was
That was
really
fun. Yeah.
well, Dave and Terry, both saw the value of what came before and wanted to do a show that Picard season 3. I don't know about season 1 and 2,
Mm.
but season 3 of Picard directly connects to the Star Trek of the late 80s, early
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah. Absolutely.
It's the same universe.
And the same continue from this
Yeah.
area. Yeah,
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 things are faithful.
and really
Went
faithful.
back,
Yeah,
if we went back to Kirk's Enterprise, we would probably pretty much recreate it. Although we could add things like holograms that we never saw in the original series. They were there, you just never saw them. You
yeah.
know.
The museum
Um,
was awesome to see all the ships.
oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something fans have, and we had done numerous times in the Ships of the Line calendar years ago. The idea of a fleet museum.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
really, it's obvious that they would have a fleet museum, but I think that it was the Ships of the Line calendar that popularized the idea, you know.
And Geordie is the best man for it.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, he is still like trip mechanic in the heart. So, you know,
Yeah.
you know. And how was it for you? How called you? Well, how you call you for this? Terry Paramount? Who called you through? Come back to Star Trek?
Well, it actually started on my Facebook Messenger.
Ah,
I had been
Facebook.
messengering with this guy, Dave Blass, who you know, and we chatted for weeks.
For weeks.
I, yeah,
Oh, that's
I just thought
amazing.
he was a fan of the show. I didn't know he was connected to Picard in any way.
Okay.
And and when he talked, I mean, he sent me pictures of himself in a Starfleet uniform as a kid,
Wow,
and he
that's
tells me
amazing.
he's going to do the show, and I'm like, what? He had no idea at all.
Yeah, me too.
And that's where it really started. I thought he was going to ask me to come and do graphics, but it turns out he wanted me to, you know, work with him and John Eves on Starfleet ships. And I have to admit a sense of panic when I heard that, because ships can be a slippery slope with producers because everyone's focused on them. And you could end up doing it 40 different ways, and then they go back to the first one you did.
Yeah,
But and I don't really have a problem with that because they're paying me. You know,
yeah,
if
yeah.
use my time any way you want. If you want me to do 30 starships, what's so horrible about that? You know? But, you know, working with Terry and Dave was a breeze. They had notes, you know, but they were reasonable, and they showed me such amazing respect as far as what I thought about the design. It was important to Terry and Dave that I was comfortable with it, which never really happened back during the Berman days. Although the Berman days were great. I mean, working with Herman was, and as a matter of fact, when I was doing the NX, I had almost total control over it. It was just me. It was more of a group effort on Picard. On Enterprise, it was like me,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Berman looking, throwing in some thoughts, taking it to Berman, getting some notes. But it was really, you know, I was the only one who was really working on it. You know, primary designer, you know, like Andy Probert with the D. But it was a smaller thing in those days.
Yeah, not so many episodes when in the past was over 20 episodes. It was only 10.
Oh God, we used to do like 26 episodes a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was, you see, that was a sustainable thing. People who worked on the show, once they did 26 episodes, they knew that they were going to be off for 3 months and come back and do another 26. But when you're only doing like 10 episodes, it makes it hard to make a living, you know?
And tell the story in so short. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, I believe it or not, we lavished more time on the 26 episode shows,
Yeah, of
but
course.
we're spending more money
Yeah, that
on
too.
the,
Yeah.
on the new shows. You know, on Picard, they have a lot more money, but we're moving faster. I mean, a lot of these ships, I did the approval model, you know, I think like the Intrepid was like a week.
A
A
week.
week,
Week. Wow.
you know,
Wow, yeah.
where on, of course, that's how much time we usually spent on a ship of the week. A hero ship on Enterprise, we must have spent almost 3 months
Yeah.
on. But the Titan was much, much quicker than that. Much, much quicker. As a
And
matter of fact, the Titan came in late because originally it was going to be the Stargazer all the way through.
Wow, that was a great ship, and I mean a great
Well, I was
recreation.
disappointed because we spent more time on the Stargazer. But then when I watched the show, I realized that the Stargazer is a pretty muscular ship.
Mm-hmm.
You'd expect it to turn around and give the Shrike a really bad time. Whereas the Titan is like a mid-range ship. And you can totally understand why they're running for their lives.
Mm.
You know, it seems more vulnerable, you know. Personally, I think I love everything Terry did. But I always thought the Enterprise was a flagship. That would be the next generation of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so for it to be the Titan is kind of a step down for the name Enterprise, I think. I think it would have been amazing if it had been the Stargazer, and at the end, the Stargazer became the Enterprise,
Mm-hmm.
just like it did on TNG. You know, basically, we knew that he was on the Stargazer. I think that, but I am not complaining at all. You know, I love what Terry did. I sure hope he gets to do Legacy.
And you see all your friends again from a TNG cast, and so many from the
Well,
past.
it's a great chemistry, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and you know, working with people like Dave Blass and Terry Metalis who really respect the behind the scenes, you know, creative people. It's
Yeah.
easy to be a director and a producer and um, just blow off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I get it. If you're the director or the producer, the sword of Damocles is hanging over your head. So, by God, it's going to be the way I think it should be. You know, I have no problem with that because I'm really there to focus your vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get in as much of myself as I can, you know. But so don't get me wrong, whoever's listening.
By the way, what you asked you, um, would you say Herman teach you a lot about all the stuff?
Well, in a way, Herman taught us how it would rarely ever be again. You know, I've been really lucky. Almost everywhere I went, I fell in with a great group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Herman made working in the art department so fun and easygoing and trusted us so much.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and every other art, you know, and then when I work with Dave in the art department, it's another ecosystem. Every ecosystem, and especially Dave and Herman,
Mm-hmm.
two of the best art department ecosystems, you know. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I worked on other shows where I had a wonderful time.
Battlestar
Working with art
Galactica,
department,
for example,
Galactica was incredible. Working with that art department was amazing. And
and the
Orville,
sequel, the prequel for Galactica, the prequel.
oh, Blood and Chrome.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we were the de facto art department on that show. There was an art department, but they mostly did stuff like set up, you
Mm.
know, speed rail gantries and put green in front of them. But all of the designs came out of visual effects, all of them, all the set designs, everything came out of visual effects.
Mm.
So for me, that was a big thrill because I was getting to do visual effects and being a production designer. You know, I mean,
Mm.
it was Gary Hudson and Dave Morton was very much a production designer on the show. I
Mm.
handled just about anything that had to do with the ships because that's what I was really interested in, and Gary knew that,
Mm.
and he wanted me to do what I wanted to do. So the ship became mine. You know.
And how was it for you guys to recreate the Enterprise bridge? How was feeling for you when you see all for the first time is again recreating?
Well, I mean, the main credit goes to Liz Klakowski,
Mm-hmm.
the one of the art directors on the show. She spearheaded that for Dave Blass, and they lived the day to day. And me and Mike and Denise, you know, consulted on it. You know, if anything didn't feel right, or I mean, we went up when it was in progress, and we went up when it was pretty much done. And we contributed. You know, I had a complete set of plans. I don't know what Paramount had, but I let them know I had it, and they came and made copies of it. Um, it was beautiful. Wow, it's perfect. Really beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Really amazes me
Me too, man.
is the wood grain on the rail.
Yeah, that was
Imagine
so.
that.
It was unexpected when you asked me to bring the Enterprise D back in whole piece. That, it was. I say, what? No way, the Enterprise D is back. No way, Jordy did it. That's
Well,
so
the
great.
Enterprise D is one of the characters
Yeah,
of the show. One of my biggest problems, though, I have to say, is why do we go through Enterprises like Kleenex? How
yeah,
are we already up to the G? I mean, one of the things I always liked is that Gene Roddenberry always said that the Enterprise was a ship with history.
hmm
And I like the idea that you had a ship where guess what? There were a couple of captains before this guy, you know? And even today, military hardware, I mean, they're not going to, by the time they retire the B-52, it's going to be almost 100 years in service,
yeah, yeah.
you know? I
That's
also think that there are way too many ships. I always love, I think that you could get a fleet together, but it's not easy. They're
yeah, not
covering such
easy.
vast
Yeah,
distances.
yeah,
When I see 10 billion ships show up coming from everywhere, how are you doing this? I mean, are they really all that close? They're all huddled around just a few seconds away. Uh, I'll never forget in original series episode Tomorrow is Yesterday.
oh yeah, beautiful
Kirk
episode.
is taking Captain Christopher on the turbo lift, and he's telling him about the ship. He says only 12 like it in the fleet. I mean, think of all the area that 12 ships have to try to. You could barely. I mean, sure, they're going to get to. Look, if they're printing them up and spitting them out, okay, maybe you could make 1,000 an hour. I don't know. I just another thing was like an I Mud, a Harry Mud in the
Very
Mud's
much. Yeah, yeah,
Mud's Women,
yeah.
where he beams on board and he says, so this is a starship, really a darling. You don't see one that often. They're like legendary.
That's there. Yeah. That's, yeah.
Hmm.
Have
Anyway,
you have you invited Hermans to see the new Enterprise bridge that you recreated? He
oh
was
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
and what he say? What was his reaction? What did he say? Tell me.
Well, he was amazed and everything. Of course, he had been through recreating bridges from the original series, so he knows that an art department and a good construction crew can do just about anything. He was amazed, of course, and just like we all were.
Yeah, man, that was, and he be proud of you guys. I hope that
Yeah,
you
I think
all.
this bridge is actually better than the one that they had on the old show. First, the old bridge was like on the floor. You
Yeah,
could walk straight out of the main view screen. But this bridge was built up on a platform, so you could, cable it from underneath.
yeah. I
They didn't have to
remember
use
Mike
Hulu.
Okuda say Star Trek was always low budget. Is it true? Would you say is that true?
Here's the
Ah,
answer, man. Ask him.
hello.
Over here. Over here. Well, yeah. Star Trek never had a budget. I mean, even when they were spending like 2.5 million, that's, not a, the value of the dollar is like different. When we were doing movies,
Yeah,
doing it on like practically TV budget, you know. Um, I think that they spend more money on shows now. I mean, but the thing is that the whole movies and television are on the same shelf now. You know what I mean? There used to be television and then there were movies that always looked bigger.
yeah,
Now it's like most people are watching them off of Netflix and stuff. So they're all coexisting. You have to spend more money. You know? Although I will say that if you watch the original series, where sometimes it's quite theatrical, um, because the show has such heart and takes itself so seriously that you're like, I'm okay with the cardboard cutout buildings out the window. That doesn't bother me. Look at the heart here. Look at how much I mean, when I was watching Star Trek, it was rare to find anything like that. I mean, Lost in Space was goofy and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was goofy. And And Star Trek, it was like deadly serious. You know, the ship was so impressive. Although I do love that sea view, I have to say.
Yeah. Um, we talked about last time with Star Trek Continues. For me, Paramount should be added to the canon. Star Trek Continues is for me really
You can't do
canon.
that. It's not possible.
Yeah, that's really sad. That's
Because if
not
you do that,
possible.
think of the union issues you're going to have.
Yeah,
Oh, you're including something that wasn't made by a human crew, a union crew.
yeah,
That's a problem. People say, well, why don't they, use fan films and why don't they go to Ticonderoga and shoot? Well, now you're going to get into trouble with unions who are trying to keep work for their, you know, people who pay dues.
mm,
You know, so that's an issue. Plus, if people are working on something that the studio's not covering with insurance, and it's just it's it's a slippery slope, crazy, never going to happen.
yeah. Sadly, because for me, Star Trek Continues the best fan-made series ever because you feel the spirit and the ghost from the '60s series in it. They
I
capture
always thought
all
they
that,
I always thought they did a really good job. Um, but I haven't seen all the fan films. I don't know what everybody's doing, and I can't watch them anymore. Just can't. I was watching them in the beginning, but it's like I'm to the point where, well, actually, I can't watch any of the new shows either.
Mm.
I've never seen Discovery. I've never seen Strange New Worlds. I haven't seen any of the JJ movies after the first one
Oh,
because,
the horrible, the
well,
JJ
I can't.
movies.
I'm too opinionated, about the way things should be.
Mm, mm,
And and I got to a point where I can only watch a show I'm actually on.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
I didn't watch Picard until I knew that they were going to bring me in for season two.
Yeah, 3 years before told to me I will never see Star Trek Picard in my life. Before we talk about first time.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, it there's parts of it that I like, and I like seeing Patrick Stewart and stuff, but it wasn't engaging. I didn't feel like I had to go back.
Yeah, the major things that bother me on season one is um, Picard drink non-coffee tea, and I say what?
Well,
I
people are allowed to
agree with
drink as
no
much.
coffee. What is wrong? You know?
Oh, that's pretty minor. Really, give me something worth complaining about.
Yeah, but he drink tea with coffee in it. No, without coffee. It's make
Why
no
not?
sense.
Why?
Yeah, this was all the time because say agree hot. So
I only started drinking green tea about 6 months ago.
oh, okay,
Never
okay,
drank it before.
okay,
Now I have maybe 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, and the rest of the time it's green tea.
okay, okay. But that is was the thing that bothered me on the season one. But it was a great episode. Yeah, the favorite part for me was in the first episode. I believe in Picard go to the room with all the stuff from the Enterprise D with the Picard Stay shield in and all the stuff he captured there. That was a really touching scene for me, and yeah, that was really epic. You say you not see Strange New Worlds, but they made a really great job in the final season from season
I
one.
won't be watching it. I can't.
But let me tell you, they
I will.
recreated the uniform from the Wrath of Karn in the final episode. The future Pike wore the red uniform. I was flipping out here and I say, wow,
Well, I'm glad you
great
had a good
job.
time. As soon as they hire me, I'll watch it.
I love that one, because I remember on the red uniforms, Gene Roddenberry, he won't want that red uniforms. He said too militaristic on it.
Well, I agree with Gene Roddenberry. I never liked those uniforms.
No, not the
No, Gene
reds, no.
Roddenberry said that they were too military and they reminded him of the prisoner of Zenda. And I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
I
agree, they're
remember.
very
Yeah,
martial. They very much are similar to uniforms Hermann Goering wore during World War
yeah,
II. And that always bothered me a little bit. I never saw Starfleet as being so martial, but that's when we had Ruthercon, what's his name directing it?
Nicholas Meyer.
Nicholas Meyer. You know, he was going for a hornblower, a sailing ship thing. Gene, from the very beginning, always made a big point of uh, there's not a lot of pomp and circumstance,
Mm-hmm.
on Star Trek, and people don't have to stand up and salute when you come in, stuff like that. And those uniforms give you the feeling that people need to stand up and salute. I think they're great, but I just never thought they fit Star Trek that well. And I know
Yeah,
a lot of people love them, you
yeah.
know,
But you say what makes sense. Yeah, yeah. That's true.
I like the Next Generation uniforms better.
Oh, not from season 1 and 2. Season 3 was better one. Season 1 and 2
Well, at
was
least they made
horrible.
them more comfortable. I wore those season 1 and 2 uniforms, the
Yeah,
stand-up
I
uniforms,
remember the scene. Yeah, yeah.
and they're not comfortable to wear. And I thought that Bob Blackman took them and made them soft and comfortable to wear. With a separate jacket,
Mm.
kind of like a who's calling me? Hmm, my phone.
Um, Last time I forget to ask you something. You was actually in the last final scene from Star Trek Enterprise in the public, and you made so. How you were looking at on a green screen? Or how you looking at when you sit there and made so? You sit
Well, there's a
in the
camera
public.
crew in front of us.
Okay, okay, wow. Uh,
Nothing in front of us.
yeah, yeah. That was a great scene, and you
Well, my
know,
favorite cameo is from Transfigurations from Next Generation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really long time ago, I see that episode, but I remember it. Yeah, you walk into the picture when I remember that, right?
The camera starts on me,
Yeah,
talking to people
yeah.
on 10 forward, and then follows me across 10 forward. They used me as a bridge
Oh
to get
yeah.
to Dr. Crusher. Yeah.
And how was this feeling for you to see all the great group that you have was so long with you all the time? Well, was a great reunion, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it was great, seeing all the actors. Uh, we weren't there when they were shooting the scenes with everyone. When we went to inspect, Jonathan Frakes came in.
Hmm.
He's the greatest guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he always remembers you. There's some of them that look at you like, who are you? But like Michael Dorn, you know, he he's wonderful. And
And
John Doe.
delicious too.
Did you say delicious?
Yeah, delicious. Yeah, Michael Dawn is for me delicious. Yeah, because he's Worf and he's Michael Dawn too. Was my feeling
It's
all
like
the
two
time.
scoops.
You know.
Scoops. It's
Um,
delicious. I'm sure he'd love to hear that.
and I saw a video from Mike Okuda, and we're waiting back on the Enterprise D bridge, and it was amazing. And Mike wrote me on Facebook. First, was amazing for Will to see the recreation of the bridge from the Enterprise.
I'm
Wow,
sure it is.
wow, yeah. There
It was a
was,
pretty perfect recreation. Pretty perfect.
yeah. But I must say, you made the recreation from the series, not from the movie, because the bridge from the Enterprise in Star Trek Seven is different.
Yeah, I was never happy with that. But see, the thing was that the bridge became more complicated when really things, if anything, should be getting more simple. That's what
Mm.
Gene always did. And if you just look at your telephone that you had 20 years ago compared to the phone you have now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
look at an iPad,
yeah.
someone from the 1950s would be like, how do I turn it on? There's no buttons.
Yeah, there's no buttons. Yeah.
Things are supposed to get less complicated. So adding those stations on the left and the right, and of course, is what influenced the bridge on the Picard season 2 and 3.
Mm.
I just felt that the bridges have gone backwards since Gene died. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what he would have done if he was still alive and trying to show what the next bridge would look like. What would the bridge of the Enterprise J look like?
Yeah.
It's not. It's going to be a quantum leap beyond the same way that the D bridge was compared to the original series bridge. You know,
Or the Enterprise future, the future Enterprise on the Cindy War, Enterprise G,
the
maybe
J.
J, yeah, J. How
Yeah.
they look, they bridge, I think, amazed me all the time. What hey look they bridge, you know? Maybe what look have their bridge, you know?
Well, I think that there's a bridge that's very sparse, almost like what they were doing on uh, the Enterprise D, where it's almost a lounge, you know. But on certain days of the week, there's a bridge of the day, and they can have a holographic bridge of any bridge from any starship, the same way that sailors sometimes at naval academies sail sailing ships
Hmm.
to learn about what it's like to actually be a sailor. So one day they could, you know, tomorrow is, you know, Kirk era bridge. And then the day after that, we're going to do Picard era bridge. You know?
Yeah, like that, yeah. Um, Before we come to an end, have you worked in the past on the episode with the title Yesterday Enterprise? Have you worked on that
I was a
episode?
makeup artist.
Ah, wow.
Was-
Yeah.
I was I was doing makeup on the bridge, putting blood on people and stuff, and I look over my shoulder, and Gene Roddenberry's sitting in a tall director's chair watching me work.
Wow. 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 Yeah, that was a great episode to see
Yeah,
the
it's a great one.
yeah, because the
That
female
third season
captain,
really took
yeah,
off.
yeah, and Denise came back. I met Denise 4 years ago here in Germany, and we talk about it. And she said to me, "Ollie, I was happy to back on a set from TNG and do acting, really acting. You know, before I met never acting in this series, but this one was really acting my first time on Enterprise." Because she stand over there on the bridge, she say, you know, and she say, "I'm so glad you like my new character and Saleya the child too." Yeah, of course, like it is. You're both great at badass. And she's give me a smile,
It
you
would probably
know.
wrap her up.
Yeah,
You do Star Trek Legacy, and you get all those actors back.
yeah, and that what I say to the last part from the interview. It was so great to see you, so much faces from the past. You know, Shelby, I mean, well, that was for me the big surprise. Commander Shelby came back as captain on the Enterprise. What the hell, Terry, do? That this was a great move. Bring her back. And Ro Laren, you know,
That was awesome. That sequence
wow,
with her was really amazing.
what a blast! What a blast! Ro Laren came back, and it was on Starfleet, and Picard knew about this. You know, never knew about this. She came back to Starfleet. You know, there was a blast. You know, whoa, really,
Well,
and
fans loved it. And I'll say one thing is that
yeah,
before it premiered, the fans were ready to knife it and shiv it and rip it apart.
oh,
Of course they were. They didn't like season 1 and 2. They
yeah,
were prepared to not like season 3.
yeah,
And then they even hated, I think, some shots of the G. Terry posted some shots of the G. They were ripping it to shreds. Once the show got going, it won them over. Now people love that ship,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they totally buy it now. But they were not ready to like it at all. They were ready to eviscerate it.
But there was a thing you say from the big Starfleet ships. That was actually in Star Trek Picard are huge Starfleet ships you see on the, you know, when they turn to the Federation, you know, and phaser on the Earth and so, and you see so much ships on it in this episode, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the one faulty thing there is that you can't have every Starfleet ship there. They're too far away. It
Yeah,
takes years for some of them to get back. You know, so it's like there's the local fleet as
yeah, the local fleet, yeah, yeah.
but it's not every ship. You just can't.
No, there was too much.
How do you get them back on station?
Okay, you're back on
It took a
stage.
year to get here for the event, and they've left it all wide open. You know, but it was great. It was really great.
Yeah, it was too much, but it was great to see so much familiar
Well,
ships
you know,
together, you
compared to
know?
that fleet I saw at the end of season 1, where it was all the same ship.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
You know, I tell you that I don't mind a big fleet of ships like from A Sacrifice of Angels from DS9.
Yeah.
Long as they're all, as long as there's a spread of ships. I mean, one of the things that Dave Blass and Terry were careful to do in these fleets was have a lot of ships that fans could root through and go, oh, this is that class, this is that class, that's an Excelsior, people love that. As long as you do that, you're okay. But if you start doing a rubber stamp, where every damn ship is the same ship, and it's not even one you care about, you know?
Yeah, and here is my last question for our second interview. How is your favorite TNG episode?
That's a really hard one. There were some really amazing shows. Some really, really, really good shows. I can't pick one out.
You love all of them.
I don't love all of them, but there were so many really good ones. I remember when Picard was a prisoner of the Cardassians.
Torture. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
there was a wonderful one where he falls in love with this woman and they play their musical instruments in the Jeffries tubes.
Yeah.
Then realizes that having her on the ship, he won't put her in the same danger as everybody else, and she had to transfer off, you know.
Or the Borg episode with Q first time.
Well, what about, I think it was Minefield, right?
Yeah.
Jordan he brought the Enterprise D development project on the holodeck and met Leia Brahms.
Yeah.
Show. I mean, there's so many good ones. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
And so many and you know, for 3 years, I was standing right there watching the episodes in 3D, you know?
But for me, really, I have a favorite too from season 2. And so, for me, was this first serious episode in TNG. And I mean, the Borg episode with Q. When Q bring the Enterprise to the Borg for the first time.
Yeah,
That was it was a really serious episode. And, you know, it was a great move to move on with TNG, you know.
Oh, how about Best of Both Worlds?
Yeah, gosh.
Anyway, I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, okay. Doug, thank you for being there second time. And I'm sure we speak in 2 years again, for sure.
Maybe sooner than that.
Yeah, okay. So, live long and prosper, my friend. We see you then
Okay,
on Facebook.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.